Hi, I'm Nicola here from Freedom Rotterdam. I'm originally from South Africa and came to the Netherlands the first time for 6 months secondment in 2018. I came over for work for a secondment and I stayed in Amsterdam. But I was introduced to Freedom Rotterdam during the weekends that I visited friends here in the Netherlands. I basically then became part of the family that they have here because it's literally like a family. And it was very sad for me to leave at that stage. But I moved back to South Africa after the 6 months secondment, only to decide in less than a year I want to move back to the Netherlands. When I moved back to the Netherlands, it was quite an easy decision to decide to go back to Rotterdam, specifically for friends that I have here, the church I had here, and it's also just a very nice city to stay in. And also the offices that I was in is a lot smaller than our Amsterdam offices, which makes it a lot more like a homey feeling. So I came back in August 2019 and I immediately became part of the Freedom Rotterdam family again. I basically become part of the host/VIP area team. At that stage, it was one team because the church was quite small still, so there wasn't enough volunteers to have all the different areas. And I remember it was somewhere in 2021 or 2022 where Becky and Greg, our pastors here in Rotterdam, came to me and they were like, Nicola, we want to split host and VIP and we want you to head up VIP. And my first response for them were like, I'm an introvert and I can't small talk to save my life. So I don't know why you're asking me, but I don't think I'm the right person. And they, so basically I disqualified myself immediately. And they were like, no, we see these characteristics in you and we think you can do it. So after a lot of discussions, I basically said, okay, let's do it. So I started on VIP and it was basically in the beginning, it was just me, myself and I. And I remember sometimes coming to church on a Sunday before I would volunteer, and I would really not feel like, okay, in the VIP spirit or like feeling VIP at all. And sitting on the tram, I would be like, Lord, I honestly don't know how to do this, but please help me. I don't feel it today, but I know you've placed me here and you want me to do this, so please help me. And it was, at the end of the day, I realized it's not as much what you say or how you say it, but it's more just like at the end of the day, welcoming people into church and just to make them feel loved. And then basically, I think it was like 6 months to a year after I started with VIP, I got my first volunteer on the team. And I remember I was so happy. I was telling everyone in church, VIP doubled, hey, VIP doubled. So I was so happy about Elia joining my team. And I remember that was also a time when the church started to grow quite significantly. And some Sundays when people started just walking in, some of our normal volunteers, I would be like, morning, Brian, you are on VIP today because we've got 6 VIPs and there's just too many for me to cover. So please just help. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which area you're on or even if you are a volunteer. The most important is basically that we're all called to love people and to make them feel welcome. So it was also amazing to see how people started to just like go around it and just embrace it fully. Then I remember when also the volunteer coordinator Alice came to me and she was like, okay, Nicola, so it's time to raise the next and to move on to something else. And I was actually super sad because I was just like, I just started to love this. But it was also awesome to see how someone else took over and stepped into it and how it grew. But during this whole process, I learned quite a lot of lessons, and there's 4 of them that I basically want to mention specifically today. So one of them is, the first one is basically, at the end of the day, the Lord just wants a willing heart. So it doesn't mean you have to be able to do or have an extensive CV to do everything. He just wants your willing heart and he will qualify you for whatever he calls you to. So for instance, me not feeling that I can do VIP or anything, at the end of the day, the Lord was with me each and every time. And each and every time that I went, Lord, I don't know how, I don't know what. He just put some words into my mouth. So at the end of the day, a willing heart is really needed. So secondly, basically it is to trust and to respect the leaders that's placed above you. If it weren't for our pastors and the sisterhood leaders, I don't think I would have done it. And the impact that it had on my life was quite significant. So I think the fact that they were challenging me, prompting me, and like encouraging me, especially encouraging me, helped me to grow in this and helped me to learn a lot more about myself, but also to grow in my love towards people, which was really, really good. Then thirdly is pray, pray, pray. I can never emphasize that enough. At the end of the day, there's so many times where I just spoke to the Lord and I was just like, Lord, you need to help me. And I think that's basically what He wants. He wants to be in connection with you. So it's so important to just continue praying, for help and for wisdom and for discernment. And fourthly and lastly, basically, is at the end of the day, you don't always see what you've sown. So to continue doing stuff, even though you don't see what is growing, God will use what you sow. And so to trust in Him and just rely on Him.